This is Rob Martens with Allegion. I've got Scott Harkins from Honeywell with me, just to have a brief conversation around tech and trends in our industry. Scott, thanks for making time to talk with me today.
Thanks for having me, Rob. I always like to talk about the industry and what's going on in the space.
That's great. If you wouldn't mind, could you give a brief introduction to Honeywell for those who don't know? My guess is there aren't many, and what your role is in the company.
Sure. So Honeywell, very large, $40 billion industrial conglomerate that over the past few years has been moving from an industrialized company really to an industrial cyber organization, meaning heavily focused on transforming to become a software business. And in fact, just a few weeks ago, we've rebranded Honeywell as Honeywell, the power of connected. And when you look at our businesses, we play across many different verticals. We play in a connected worker space, a connected building space, a connected home space, which is what I'm part of, connected airplanes. Just about everything we do now is being connected. We think there's real value there, and we think the real value actually that we provide to our customers is our ability to collect information, gain insights from that information, and bring value back to the customer with that info.
That's great. When you talk about or I don't even know if you use this term, but the Internet of Things in relation to your business, what are kind of the big trends or big shifts that you're seeing today?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying with the Internet of Things, Honeywell is often associated with the T, IoT, the things. We make lots of things, but what's been happening within our organization, really within, I think the macro market in general has been a move to software and a move to connectivity to help enable new user experiences, new consumer experiences, new ways to manage a facility or even an airplane. And I think what's driving that is a bunch of things, right? The cost now of sensors, the cost of transmission to the cloud, the cost of storage in the cloud has come down so dramatically that it allows us to really collect way more data than we could collect just a few years ago, analyze that data in ways we could never have done it before. I also think, Rob, that we sometimes forget about what user experience really is. I'll use a thermostat as an example. The user experience with a thermostat isn't how beautiful is the app. Yeah, that's critically important. How easy is it to change the temperature in the app? Yeah. Is the product beautiful on the wall? It's important to get the design right. There's no question about it. But the real user experience for a thermostat is whether you're comfortable in your home. If you have to change your thermostat to be comfortable, that's not a very good user experience. So there has to be the product that the consumer hires to do a job has to do the job that it's been hired to do. Much like a lock should be locked when it's supposed to be locked and unlocked when it's supposed to be unlocked. And if it is beautiful and has a beautiful app, if it doesn't lock or unlock properly, there's a problem with it. That's the real user experience. We often in our space get confused by great apps and beautiful designs, which again are critically important, but the products themselves have to do what they're designed to do, and they have to do it 100% of the time.
What are you looking for? What are the elements that contribute to catching the eye of Honeywell in technology? As you see, there's a lot of new stuff coming out all the time. Are there any things in particular that you're looking at that?
So, I have a whole bunch of answers for that. One of them is there's a lot of really cool disruptive technology out there, but the only technology that truly catches our eye are technology that brings value to that end customer. So a building automation system that might have some really cool new IP in it, but that IP doesn't translate into value to the facility manager or the business manager. Same thing in the home. Then it might be disruptive, it might be a different way of doing things, it might be highly outside of the norm, but it has to actually bring value. It can't just be technology for technology's sake. And we have, over the past 5 or 6 years, kind of since the beginning of IoT, I guess IoT was coined well before that, but the advent of all of these connected organizations, I've seen a lot of disruptive things that looked disruptive until they actually got into the market, and then the consumer didn't see the value in that disruptive thing, and it didn't sell. And a lot of those companies aren't around. So the disruption that catches Honeywell's attention is disruption that drives real value, measurable value. Again, whether it's a homeowner or a business owner or a facility manager, or a pilot flying in an airplane. It has to actually bring value.
Yeah. Quick question for you around adoption. One of the interesting parallels between a company like Allegion and a company like Honeywell is we really participate in everything from single-family home to multifamily through to commercial, or what we would call non-res,
right.
Businesses. Do you see the same kind of progression that we see of some of this technology into non-res or institutional spaces?
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. So I actually see it going in both directions. And I pose it this way: we would term it internally at Honeywell connected home and connected building. And certainly in the connected home, we see things that are very consumer-oriented that take place there. So you see Apple coming in the space with Works with HomeKit. You see Google in there with Google Home. We see Amazon in there with Amazon Alexa. And we see all of these connected products. And while I don't see those same consumer tech giants in the commercial space, we definitely see a trend in that direction. We think they'll be coming in that space to do some new and interesting things in different kinds of commercial buildings. But what they're doing and trying to drive towards is that platform, that one connected point with lots of disparate technologies that they can pull together and really easy to use user interfaces that I think absolutely translates well in the commercial space. I also think why the technology is different, a lock is a lock. It has a purpose in life, and a commercial lock is different than a residential lock, but that connectivity and that value that it brings is the same. A thermostat, and the thermostat in a building and a thermostat in a home are often doing the same thing. They're controlling temperature, they're creating comfort. In a building, there might be 50 thermostats, so there's the ability now to take that same connected piece and collect information from 50 thermostats and find a way to make an even comfort throughout a building. All of us have had that problem where you're in your office and it's cold in your office, and just outside the door it's very warm. How do you control that? Well, collecting the data from multiple thermostats, just like you would in a home, allows you to drive a different level of comfort. So I think the use cases, while they're different, it's a different constituency completely. The technology and the value of the connectivity, right? The information that you can gather and the value you can bring is very, very similar.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate it. Scott, thanks for making some time for us.
Yeah,
Thanks.
It's always fun. Thank you, Rob.